Welcome to the Firo Pizza Sports Studio. I'm your host, Brock Baldridge. It's been a rough week for Oklahoma State sports. Cowgirl women's basketball was in action last night in San Antonio for the women's NCAA tournament. Cowboy baseball was home last night for a high-scoring midweek game. And Cowgirl softball looks forward to begin conference play this weekend. All that and more coming up next on the Sports Report. The Oklahoma State women's basketball season has come to a screeching halt. One of the most historic seasons in Cowgirl basketball history ended last night. The Cowgirls were in San Antonio, Texas last night, taking on the #1 overall seed in the Alamo region, the Stanford Cardinal. Oklahoma State would hang around this game, even shoot 41% from the field, and have a better free throw percentage than Stanford. Natoa Nefertali scored 14 points for the Cowgirls, and Natasha Mack had 13 points and 10 rebounds. But despite all that, it just wasn't enough. Stanford lived by the three ball, shooting a whopping 52% from beyond the arc. The Cardinals scored 13 three-pointers in this game. Stanford defeated Oklahoma State by a final score of 73-62. The Cowgirls season ended with an overall record of 19-9. This is the best record that the Cowgirls have had in the last 4 seasons. Oklahoma State men's basketball had their season end Sunday night after their loss to Oregon State in the second round of the NCAA tournament. And within 2 days, there's already been some player movement in the transfer portal. Senior guard Farron Flavors will not return with the team next season. He becomes a transfer. Flavors averaged only 3.4 points per game. With Oklahoma State, he was brought in to be the three-point specialist off the bench for this year's team. Star freshman point guard Cade Cunningham has not made an announcement on his basketball future with Oklahoma State, although it's more than likely that he will declare for the NBA draft this summer. Cunningham picked up another accolade yesterday afternoon as he was named Tisdale National Freshman of the Year. Cunningham is currently projected to be the first overall pick in this year's NBA draft. Oklahoma State baseball was in action last night. After a week on the road, the Cowboys were back home at O'Brate Stadium to take on Missouri State. The Bears got off to a good start with an early 3-0 lead. Then Oklahoma State's Nolan McLean would tie the game with a 3-run bomb to straightaway center field to tie the game at 3 apiece. Then Caden Trinkle did a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 4th to give the Cowboys a 5-3 lead. But in the top of the 7th inning, things would just turn for the worse. The Bears would score 6 runs in the inning and send 11 batters to the plate. The Cowboys struggled with pitching all night long, using 8 different pitchers that combined for 10 walks and 4 hit batters. The Cowboys would go on to lose this one by a final score of 11-8. Oklahoma State now drops their overall record to 12-6-1 on the season. The Cowboys have lost 3 straight and lost 2 of their last 7 games played. Oklahoma State will look forward to hosting Kansas State for a 3-game series this weekend as the first ever Big 12 Conference opponent that the Cowboys have played in O'Brate Stadium. Oklahoma State softball will have only one more game to play before they begin conference play. The Cowgirls will be home tonight in Stillwater taking on the North Texas Mean Green. The game was originally scheduled to be played last week, but it will be played tonight. After the game, the Cowgirls will head to Lawrence, Kansas for this weekend to take on the Jayhawks for a 3-game series starting on Friday to open Big 12 conference play. Shifting over to some NBA news, the NBA trade deadline is only 1 day away. Lots of skilled players are expected to be traded to contending teams before tomorrow's deadline. The Oklahoma City Thunder might be in the trade market, but the Thunder have a game tonight taking on the Memphis Grizzlies tonight at 7 p.m. in Chesapeake Energy Arena. The Thunder have won their last 2 games and are looking to make it 3 straight. On the final note, NFL free agency is cooling down, and there's still plenty of names that have yet to come off the board for free agency. The NFC East now has a new quarterback. Last night, the Philadelphia Eagles agreed to a 1-year deal with former Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco. Flacco spent last year with the Jets and the Broncos. That's all the time we have today for the Sports Report. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at the same time for the Sports Report.
The Sports Report is brought to you by Firo's Fire-Kissed Pizza.